Greetings everyone, switch down here. This video, if you notice the title, Where is the World Going? In this video, I will talk about one very serious topic. Something did happen here in Sweden last year. A young man by the name Eric Torell was 20 years old. He was diagnosed with both Down syndrome and autistic. And you may ask, why is something talking about this particular person? Well, I don't know if this particular news was global wild, because it really hurts to hearing about this particular news even last year. I made back some backstories of what happened. The 2nd August 2018, middle of the night, Eric, he escapes from his father's apartment in Stockholm. He took with his toy gun of plastic, but the police got an alarm. They saw someone had said a man with an automatic weapon, so they sent 3 patrols and they met Eric. And they apparently for them, they thought he was a threatful person, and they fired a number of shots against him. And you may ask, how many shots? Well, I can tell you, 25 shots. They killed him. They didn't see that was a plastic toy gun at first, but afterwards, it turns out he had a toy gun. And the police, these 3 police officers actually were, well, they were suspended from work, and they were actually prosecuted. They were later taken to trial about this event. And especially now, nearly almost a year later, after all this event took place, what do you think happened to police officers who did this unspeakable act against a man who they first appeared to be threatening? Killed him. These 3 officers, I can tell you what would happen to them. If they've been found guilty, they will keep their jobs no matter what happens. Even if they get judged, even if they're found guilty, they will end up to keeping their jobs. Yeah, you heard me right. Why was suddenly the government allowing 3 people who have been killed an innocent man, an autistic young man, for 25 shots, and because they thought he was appearing a threat to the public. And after they found out he was only carrying a plastic toy gun, and now they were prosecuted to a trial, and if they get found guilty, they will end up keeping their jobs, and that is unbelievable. I mean, this family lost their son, and their son's killers will continue to keep their jobs. What is going on with this world? I mean, when I first heard about this particular news, I was shocked. And I don't even know if this particular news went public all over the world, but I know for sure that some of the news might have ended up in rather Europe, perhaps in outside Europe, like in America or something. I'm not really sure. But I can say this: Eric doesn't even deserve to be this, and his killers, they deserve to be punished. I mean, if they're found guilty, they deserve to be losing their particular jobs and perhaps even paying his family a large amount of money each for what they did, and also serving time in jail for all this they had to do. And since Sweden doesn't have lifetime prison as United States has, if a person found guilty for lifetime, you could sit there for life without parole, but in Sweden, you could sit from between 18 to 20 years. That is the life sentence. We don't sit here for life, but still, they deserve to get at least 20 years each for about their crimes, what they did. This young man didn't deserve to be killed. At least they could have shot a warning shot in the air, and he would drop his gun. But did he? I don't know. Probably not. Fired at him with 25 shots from all of them. It is unbelievable. This young man is unbelievable, unspeakable crime. And I have a few friends who has Down syndrome. My best friend, his brother, I believe he has Down syndrome. And another friend of mine also has Down syndrome, but they never appeared and they're never as a threat to the public. They both are sweet, kind people, funny, making you laugh, but this. What if that was your brother, your son, happens to be killed by police officers like that? Because over the past few years, just in the United States, for example, I heard a lot of people have been killed, like black people who has been targeted, just for the simple misunderstanding or something. But that is also unbelievable crime. Police officers could have killed a black man because perhaps he feeling threatened by an unarmed man. I don't know. But in this case, killing a 20-year-old Down syndrome autistic boy, a young man, because he appeared to be a threat to the public because he was carrying what they believe some witness said that he was carrying an automatic weapon, but it turns out to be just a plastic toy gun. I know for sure his parents would never go past this. And if that was my son or my brother, I would make sure that those police officers would get losing their particular jobs and perhaps even paying serious debt to the family, and that they will serve a long time in jail. I can't even imagine how his parents, how he feels about what has happened. Losing as one's child is unimaginable loss. Even for example, 2 years ago, I think it was almost 2 years ago, when there was this terror attack in Stockholm, when this man driving a truck through central parts of the capital and killing 5 people, including an 11-year-old girl who was on her way home from school when that happened. Losing a child, or at least a sibling like that, I can't imagine how it's like. But this time, these police officers killed one innocent young man because he appeared to be a threat to the community. You could at least yelled him, said, drop the gun, and perhaps just raising your guns and make sure to understand we are meaning serious, or you could at least fire a warning shot in the air. Never to appear just shooting at them because he said appearing. He didn't attack them. He didn't run up to them with a gun in hand like a maniac. He didn't. They just killed him because they appeared to be a threat to the public. But why would they suddenly not? Is this particular punishment they had, if they felt guilty, they had to keep their jobs? What is going on? I can't imagine how this family could be suffered for almost a year after being found out their son has been killed, and these police officers have been put in trial. If they get found guilty, they will keep their jobs and even allowed to serve the police officers as again. If a police officer did kill an innocent man, he shouldn't be allowed to go back to work even if found guilty. He should be released. He should get fired and paying the particular office, the victim, a large amount of money to this family, and then serve some time in jail and never be allowed to carry a gun ever again, and never be served, and never be allowed to serve applying for work as a security guard or a police officer ever again. That is the word is the best punishment for a police officer can be allowed not to be. I mean, this this is unbelievable. Why was on this justice system? I think has really fallen apart over the past few years. This showing not only that the family, their son's killers, will get off easy even if found guilty. They deserve to be losing the fight, to get fired, losing their license to carry a weapon, and send us a long time in jail because of this. But it's like holding your hand out and you just slap on the fingers, or like, oh, yeah, this deserves the people have done this. Oh no, I can take the files and shred it and pretend it's never happened. But that is what you get wrong. Since the public news has get out with this over the past year, even with newspaper, online, social medias, that will be hard to be even trying to make this appear never happened. Especially the family deserve get the justice. But how can this going on for this long? If this is found guilty, get them fired. Take the license. Make sure to pay this family a large amount of money, perhaps let's say 20 million. Let them have to pay $1 million each or 2 million each to this family and sent to 15 to 20 years in prison for what they had done. I can't imagine. If that happened, if that was my best friend's brother, I can't imagine how he would feel about this. I would be on his side. I would. But nevertheless, in this conclusion for all of this happened, why would suddenly a family be suffering, losing their only son, and this happened? The police officers, if they even found guilty, they keep their words. What is this? What is this world going on? What is this world heading on? And what is this justice system? Is this, I don't know, perhaps this justice system is corrupt or some way. Thought maybe a police officer is above the law, but that is not the truth. I can't say that for sure though. But people deserve to know what happened. This young man's killers deserve to get fired and have been served 20 or perhaps a lifetime in jail until they get out, perhaps when they're like 90 years old. I don't know. But this is a family who deserved true justice. I can't say that even if I don't even know the family myself, but I feel the compassion that these killers, the police officers who did this crime, deserve to get served some time in jail or at least in prison what they had done. I don't know exactly what will happen to these officers even if they've been found guilty, but they have been in the public news lately that if they found guilty, they will keep the work and allow to serve the public again. But I doubt the police, at least the public in that particular city in Stockholm, would probably has less trust in the police there than the rest of the country. I mean, if this could happen in the capital, what will not less could happen across the country and it happens the same punishment, the same thing? And if there could be something else? I don't know what was going on here. This world really deserved to find peace and justice for what anyone has done such act of crime. But this crime is unspeakable. No one really should be allowing to keep their work as a police officer after they killed an innocent young man like Eric. Eric doesn't deserve to be this. He had his whole future ahead of him. He could have been ended up married, had up a better career, and even he could have also been a family father. He could have his own children and grandchildren someday. But no, that was taken away from him from these police officers who appeared to them that he was appearing as a threat to the public because he was carrying a toy gun. I can't imagine how his family reacted to this news, hearing that your son has been killed because he's appeared as a threat to the public. But from a point of view from a witness who said that the person said they saw a man carrying an automatic weapon. I can understand from the witness that it didn't occur to see apart it was a handgun or an automatic weapon because it could have been dark that night or even so distant from where the person saw Eric with a gun. I can't really say for sure, but if that is true, but who knows? Even the witness was in call to trial witness and telling what had happened. I can say that this news about Eric last year until now, to be honestly, it didn't surprise me this kind of crime that at least the punishment the police officers could have. Because I thought, okay, they will get fired, losing their license to carry a weapon, and get some long time, at least a few years in jail. But no, serving the public as police officers, even though they were after being killed or they found guilty, they kept their work and carry on as nothing happened. But even if they did get found guilty, would they feel more remorse about this? Perhaps they do. I can't say for sure. But what if they deserve? Do you believe that they deserve to be still continue work as a police officer after being killing an innocent man like that? In my opinion, no. They deserve not to be as a police officer or even allowed to carry any license for weapons ever again, and also never to be allowed to work anything as remotely close as a police officer as a security guard or a police officer or even a bodyguard. They don't deserve that because what they did. Even if these police officers do feel remorse after what they had done and feel like if they could go back in time to stop this to happen, perhaps. But not all the police officers do that. I cannot say for sure how these police officers feel, but nevertheless, this family deserves at least justice for what they did. They deserve to not be keeping their work and as a police officer and after all this. But if that was my son, if that was my son, if that was my son, I would never forgive those police officers what they did. Because they don't deserve to be serving public like that after they did. No. I would be outraged. I'd be furious hearing my own son's killers be allowed to serve the public even if they found guilty, keeping their work, even allowed to serve us. But if I did run into them, if I had end up in a crime or end up in an attack or victim or something, and then I call for police, and these guys, or at least these officers, turn out and I said, I request another police officers. I don't trust you because you two killed my son last year, and I deserve to get another police officers, and you don't deserve to be here. I deserve you be off of the case as well. That's what I said. But some people will give them a second chance, sure. But it depends on what crime they did. In this case, no. But Eric, his family and him deserve to get this, at least this trust of the public and what it did. And sometime after this event, only a few days after, a lot of people are upset about this tragedy and wanted to show this their remorse and positivity. A large motorcycle parade, or at least the entourage, traveled to Stockholm to honor this motorcycle fans, Eric Torell, and I can't imagine. I mean, how would you know? How would you feel about all this happened? A 20-year-old autistic Down syndrome young man who's, according to the police, appeared to be a threat to the public because he was carrying a toy gun, and they give them the right to kill due to fire so many shots around at him? No. But has a good shot, at least one fire in the round, one shot in the air as a warning shot, saying, drop your gun now. This is the only warning shot, drop the gun now. And he probably had done it. He probably had done, if they saw they were mere serious, that shooting in the air, and he would probably drop the gun and they saw it was a toy gun. Because then perhaps the police would believe that this was just a misunderstanding, but after that, I don't know, after they had fired that amount of shots against Eric, it is a possibility that after he found he was dead, they walked up to him, saw their mistake. It was a toy gun, not a real one. But I can't imagine how his family found out, or at least was told by the police later on, how their son has been found dead, because these police officers believed that he was a threat to the public because he was carrying what they believed was a real weapon, but turns out to be a toy weapon. But I know for sure, at least his mother would be terrified, at least losing her only son. I can't imagine how that feels. Only sadness, that I can say for sure, but otherwise from that, terrifying. Knowing for sure that police officers who did this, if they found guilty, they will keep their work and serve the public as police officers. But how will the people in Stockholm react to this event? Will they have the same trust for the police as before all this happened? Because before this event even took place, the people in Stockholm around the rest of the country, they had a very high trust for the police. But after this event, I'm not so sure if that will be the same. Well, everyone, that was all I want to talk about in this particular video. And let me know what you think about this, if the police officers deserve to keep their badge and work after all this event. You can leave that on the comment section below. And as always, subscribe, leave a comment, and as always, this is Switch W, over and out.